Brandon Miller, top scorer in the SEC. Yeah. This is Sears with a drive. Miller hit a 3 touchdowns in SEC play. Yeah, 21.7 points to be exact.
Their Final Four talent is there. Nate Oates is very capable of being a Final Four coach. They've got to get better in some areas. They've got to finish at the rim at a higher rate. Their second unit defense, which is on the floor right now, has to get better. And not a great offensive rebounding team, Tom. Their odds of getting there are as good as anybody in the country right there with Purdue.
Welch found his own miss, got the foul, and got it to go.
Offense. But they opened that floor up and set ball screens, and all it locked in.
There's a lid on that rim for the Gators tonight. Rebounded and pushed. This is Bradley.
Bradley, one of those Alabama guards you can definitely go under on ball screens. Not a shooter yet in his game.
Noah Clowney makes him pay.
Gonzaga down 2 games in the regular season standings in the WCC to St. Mary's. Uncommon.
Here's Griffin for 3.
There's your spray 3 right now offensively. I know the defensive numbers are tremendous, but they do have some breakdowns. They don't always. I like this squad out of the SEC.
Best start in the league since they went up the floor with the #1 tempo in all of college basketball.
Funny.
Miller tried to save it off of Florida. The Gators team just 6 for 21 from the floor. Jones again. That time he got stuck underneath the basket, took it almost down to the final buzzer. Kugel hits the first.
Last night, Colin Castleton playing as well as any big in this league.
Sensational post passer, and he was like that since he arrived from Michigan.
Yes, he was. Highly skilled kid.
Trying to create some space, leaning into Clowney, and able to get it off the window.
Now they get that 4-round-1 with a dunker spot being occupied by Clowney. Just sitting there waiting to watch the read of the drive.
Here's Sears, transfer from Ohio, out to Quinterly.
There it is.
And it still goes even though
Alabama. I got you penciled into that first-class section, but whoa, Nelly, you got at Auburn and Tennessee next week, and I think Vescovy made a mistake if I'm not. Wow,
there's Miller for 3. 3 for 16. Case in point, and a rebound by Quinterly.
In that Tennessee loss, I believe Vescovy came off of his guy and got Vanderbilt that game winner.
Ask yourself, is there enough basketball to go around? Where they played at a tempo, did they get so many possessions that there were shots for everybody? That game at Colonial Life Arena.
Tim Mulkey told me a couple of weeks ago that gymnastics has been dominant. This entire SEC dominates that sport. Finishing at the rim, he was about 47% about a month ago talking to NBA scouts. He's now driving it hard through traffic. A complete player, 24 in white as they close this half out off of a horn set, double up. Dive Miller, pop Bediako.
Clock at 3. Sears with the left, and he kisses it off the glass. A 50
challenge. I was there. And to his point, if you only play hard after you've gotten embarrassed, we have a problem. And Alabama has to continue to grow in that area. They probably have another 15-20% of maturity growth amongst them. Again, they start to derail your season right now. Coming into tonight, had they won this game, Joe Lunardi was going to put them in the field. Yeah. They just, man, keep playing, find some good stuff in this second 20 minutes, go back to work in Gainesville and keep your season hopes alive.
Great start to the half. First 3 of the game is Rick.
Or make a miraculous comeback right now. One of the two, right?
As Jaden Bradley with his first bucket of the half, and the other way, a breakaway dunk and foul. Quinterly. What do you say?
Not only within this Alabama team and everybody else, between Brandon Miller. Other guys are having good years. Castleton's one of them. Kobe Brown of Missouri is one of them. On both ends, the net guard from Arkansas, but Miller's just, he's at another level.
The guys you mentioned, especially Devo Davis, a great example of how defense outside of Alabama games, I should say, defense has ruled the day in the SEC. His hoodie.
she, Dawn Staley, is as competitive as anybody in this game. Not just the women's game.
It's really interesting.
1 out of 3, but that Alabama defense, three-point
percentage allowed.
Body blows around the rim. 23 is going to come in and impact the game, and Nate has no hesitation playing this kid.
Lacey Reeves for 3, and he gets it to rattle home. What offense! Florida's outscored Bama by 10 since the break.
And don't go to sleep just yet. I'm talking to my own wife.
Miller doubled. Now they slack off, and the shot clock getting late on Alabama. This doesn't happen very often. You mentioned 3rd in the country in possession time, 15 seconds per possession.
And when they get to late clock, single coverage or double coverage.
Tipped in by Castleton.
Because he's trying to dance to get himself free for that look.
Rejection by Bediako. Tied the other way. Miller! Bama by 20 again. Nice feed and finish.
Baskets with Florida, though, in this second half. That's the only thought that Nate Oates has in his mind right now.
Now Miller feeding Bediako. Development on the draft front. A lot of folks thought before the season that Nick Smith would be the... Here's Miller.
Oh, wow.
It is so graceful.
Smooth, doesn't get sped up. Takes the ball high. 15, 20 percentage points just in the last 5 or 6 weeks.
He's been in double figures all but 1 game this season. Lofton lobs for Castleton, and he's got 23 now. Colin Castleton told me before the game half. Riley Kugel with the pass, and Reeves couldn't finish.
That's the cut that Florida gets, though, 4 or 5 times a game out of that hard corner. They call it a burn cut. Burning the pressure off with a back cut is all it is. Bam! Going back to what Alyssa talked about with Nate Oates and the contract extension. He's the kind of guy that you do not want to let get away if you're Alabama. And you don't want to let get away if you're the SEC. Make up so much ground in the last 4 or 5 years, the hiring of guys like Nate Oates and Eric Musselman. And keep those guys in this league at Oklahoma, Texas. Whoa, what a pass.
Bediako would roll in Alabama's basketball growth, because when they hired Bruce Pearl down on the Plains, it changed things in this state. It changed things at Auburn to start. And even though Pearl lost his first 2 games against
championships between Alabama and Auburn.
Miller for 3. Yeah, if you go back to 2018, outside of the COVID year when Kentucky won the regular season and there was no SEC tournament that finished, Alabama or Auburn has had a role in a conference championship, regular season or tournament every year.
Yeah, it's not going to go away either under Nate Oates or Bruce Pearl.
Scouting report to try to slow down Vernon Maxwell.
Yeah, he's staying in front of him. Keep him off the glass. I mean, what an athlete Vernon Maxwell was.
19 on 50% shooting. You think about what Alabama has accomplished this season. 3 losses. One of their key wins was on the road at Houston. They were down 15 game. Brandon Miller went 6 for 6 from the free throw line in the last minute.
Yeah.
In what was the biggest game of the weekend in college basketball.
He did not make a field goal in that game.
That's right.
Brandon Miller.
There's a 3 by Sears.
That have a realistic chance of being a #1 seed.
Miller the steal. Buckle up. What will be lone season in an Alabama uniform on his way to the NBA. You said Alabama's one of about 8 teams competing for a 1 seed. At what point do they have it in the bag? Nice move.
Himself tonight. I see UCLA next week. My first trip to Poly,
the largest lead of the game. Brandon Miller, transition triple.
Tom, I still think the number, this is an accurate number. Colin Castleton has only made 6 jump shots in conference play. This is just not his strength, but man, is he good in all that footwork around the rim, driving, spinning.
Is in Charlottesville to take on 8th ranked Virginia. for that Auburn team. In your earplugs, huh?
Yeah, and that won't be enough. Look what Alabama is getting ready to do right now. They're getting ready to be 11-0, and surprising Texas A&M was not great in the non-conference, but man, they've been good in this league in SEC play. And Tennessee now
the national championship ring, and every time you want to come back to a game for the rest of your life, you're going to wear your Letterman's jacket. Yeah. You're going to wear that ring. You talk about all your buddies went on to the NFL. But Nate Oates is putting together a nice little run for his walk-ons because when you're winning every SEC game by 21 points, there's some quality time that you're going to get.
Sure there is. We'll see it here, right, with a couple minutes to go.
Here's Burnett for three.
Oh, wow. You get that guy talked about. Burnett adds a little bit more offense. Now, he's a good defender, not a lockdown defender like a lot of people think, but he is a really good defender that could improve as well over the last 4 or 5.
Castleton at the free throw line. Not go to the ball rack and get shots up in game.
What is Big Al doing?
He came loaded again today. He said they told him over breakfast he wasn't allowed to tell any more dad jokes. He said, man, I'm toast.
Breakfast, the avocado spread at the new nice one in town was a little too avant-garde. Illicit
in this area as people think we are.
Glad you got that off your chest.
It's been burning on me for 2 or 3 minutes. Bam! Hurt! Like the cords in the rope Alabama has tonight from 3.
Bama's one last bucket away from the century mark. What a performance. Can Alabama?
Can they? Yes. Will they? Man, tough things coming up.